Okay, good afternoon. This is Big Al and Dr. Castro, live from the pilot plant once again. The next thing we're going to demonstrate for you is how to do titratable acidity. And I have in front of me some DI water, and then I have some diluted lemon juice here. This is going to be my sample. And if you recall from the procedure, the first thing that you're going to do is measure out the DI water. We need 90 mils of it. I'm using a graduated cylinder here, and make sure that my eyes are level with that so I can see the 90. Pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and pour that in my container here. And then it calls for 10 mils of your sample. So I'm going to use this pipette for that with this pipette aid that I've placed on here. Put my pipette in, and I'm going to slowly suck it up. And then I'm going to pull it out and let it go down a little bit. Okay, we're supposed to do this 3 times, so you'll prepare 3 of these samples. And then finally I'm going to go ahead and put the indicator in, and you're just going to want 2 to 3 drops of indicator. And the indicator we're using today is phenolphthalein. 1, 2. Okay, now I'm going to pass it over to Dr. Castro, and he will show you how to properly titrate.
Alright, so we're going to titrate this with sodium hydroxide. Just show you the proper way to fill up the burette and carry out the titration. So first thing is you're going to fill up the burette with your titrating solution, sodium hydroxide. So very first thing is you want to fill up your burette. So you want to be at eye level. So some of us need to use a bench. Very first thing you're going to want to do is, first off, make sure the stopcock is closed. And what you're going to do first is add a little bit of the titrant. This measures like volumes very exactly, so you want to make sure that there's no air bubbles in any part of the burette. That's why you're only going to add a little bit of the volume first to make sure that there are no air bubbles. So you're going to open the stopcock, let it flow, make sure there's no air bubbles. If there's no air bubbles, then we're good to go. Otherwise, you might have to tap on it a little bit just to make sure they're out. Once we're sure it's okay, then we can go ahead and fill up the burette. So in order to do that, again, we need to be at eye level. What we're going to do is we're going to pour until it goes above the 0 mark. Once it's getting close to the top, just I need to remove the funnel. Add this very slowly. Right, just make sure it goes a couple of centimeters above your above the 0 mark. And you want to be at eye level when you're going to bring it down. So the way to handle this is you want to use your less dominant hand or your non-dominant hand to operate the stopcock, so that way you know you can turn it on. Well, not on, you can either open it or close it slowly. You want to make sure that the flow is not too fast or too slow, but you want to leave it just about enough to let you adjust the volume properly. Okay, and you're ready to carry out the titration. Okay. Like I said before, when you're going to carry out the titration, what we're looking for is a slight pink color. That's when you know the titration has reached its end point. So you're going to use your dominant hand to do the shaking or the steering of your Erlenmeyer, and you're going to use your non-dominant hand to operate the stopcock. Right, so first off, want to make sure that the pipette tip is on the inside of the Erlenmeyer. Don't leave it on the outside, because otherwise some of the drops could fall out. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to give it a constant motion, and then you want to make sure that you've got a constant flow. And you'll notice as soon as the first drops fall, you get a slight coloration change. So just make sure that you open this very, very slowly. I want to spend a few minutes making sure you know how to work this properly so you can close it and open it with as much ease as possible. What you're aiming here for is a constant pink color. So as soon as you notice that the pink takes a little longer for it to disappear, then you know you're reaching your endpoint. Right, so you can speed it up or you can slow it down, depending on how close you are to your endpoint. As you can see, we're getting pretty close. So as you start getting closer, you might want to slow down. All right, and that's pretty much your endpoint right there. Okay, actually that's a little bit over, so you might want to go a little slower than I just did. Okay, and like Dr. Leite said, you're going to do this 3 times.
How we take the reading.
All right, so you started at 0. So take your reading again. To use the bench, you want to make sure you're at eye level. So you're going to take the reading to make sure you're going to read the lines. All right, so this end volume would be 1.5. So you just read it 1.5. So you started at 0, you ended at 1.5. So that means you added 1.5 milliliters of your titrated solution. And then if you were to do your second titration using this